Please rise for a short prayer. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to our flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take notice that this regular agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on this 8th day of December 2025 has been posted and advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Councilpersons Balca.
Here.
Polisi.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Sinarski.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, we have a couple of proclamations and presentations. Am I getting to do this?
Somebody else got to read it.
Yes.
But I think the whole, everyone do Don or Dan first.
Do Dan.
Okay.
So should we have Dan?
Yeah, you all go.
Dan,
All go up.
go on up.
All of
We're
you.
all of us going up? Okay.
think you should. We're good. Yeah, John.
I'm only going to introduce, but then I'll allow every council person to say a few words. But I want to present Councilman Daniel Balca with this token, but more from the bottom of our hearts for your efforts over the last 3 years on behalf of the Borough of Sayreville as a council person. I'd just like to say personally, I appreciated all your efforts, particularly on the budget situation. Last year, this was, or I should say this present year was the first year that I served on the budget committee along with Mary and Dan. And it was a very eye-opening opportunity for me. And I would say that Dan, you certainly was a great steward in, first of all, mentoring us on the process and making sure that everything was done in a most appropriate fashion. And for that, I really appreciate it. And, you know, we want to also thank you for your dedicated service for the town over the many years, including your Board of Education service as well. We look forward to seeing you at council meetings, hopefully bringing up some great opportunities and discussions for us. And again, we want to thank you. And this presentation says, presented to Daniel Balca for his distinguished service rendered as a member of Sayreville Borough Council 2023 to 2025. Kennedy O'Brien, Mayor, Borough Council, Mike Calasi, Mary Novak, Donna Roberts, Stanley Sinarski, and John Zabrowski. And I'm going to pass this along now. Mary?
Dan, I really enjoyed working with you. I know, and I've worked with him so often. He was a member of our finance department. And matter of fact, I was here when you were first hired. And it's been a pleasure to work with you at both levels. This year in particular, I want to thank you for all the seconds I got on my motions, things that were dear to my heart. Dan did make the seconds, and I appreciate that. Your knowledge of finances was second to none. It was really wonderful working with you on finance. You showed me a lot of things that I had missed. And I really hope that you consider coming back at some time, but you always give your heart and soul to the town no matter what you do. Thank you, Dan.
Same sentiments here, Dan. I mean, you know, you've provided the integrity and everything that you need in a councilman. And, you know, I appreciate everything that you've showed me and taught me along the way. And, you know, I hope that you continue to come on my bus trips. And, you know, our friendship grew, not just on council, but personally as well. But thank you for all this time here and everything that you're going to continue to do through us.
I'm going to pass this along before you have your last words.
Take first.
You want to take it?
Okay.
Dan, we ran together and we're leaving together. It was a pleasure working with you. I know we didn't always agree, but we often did agree and learned a lot. You were the perfect person to be on admin and finance, and I'm glad that you were here and were able to step up and fill that position because you know how critical it is. And you did a great job with that. So thank you.
Thank you, Dan. It definitely was a pleasure to work with you. You helped me out many, many times on a lot of different things. Everything we do in life is just another chapter. And I hope you enjoyed this chapter and move on to your next chapter in life and have a lot of fulfill your needs. But thank you very much. It was an honor to work with you, Dan. Thank you.
Your final words.
Just thank everyone for their support over the years, and I wish you guys all the best of luck moving forward and just keep doing the right thing for the town. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Congratulations.
And then we have another presentation this evening as well, and to Donna Roberts. And again, every council person will have an opportunity, but I would just like to say thank you for all your efforts. Over the last several years, you had quite a few, I would say, items on your agenda that you wanted to get forward. Here's some flowers as well. I think first and foremost, what always comes to mind to me is the issue of transparency. And you work that through organization of all our divisions and departments within the borough, wanting to make sure that information was available, but that it was also collated and put together and filed in a way in which it could be found and presented in the right fashion as well. That's a legacy that's going to continue, and you should be very, very proud of that. And I know as someone that's grown up in Sayreville, how important it was to see Sayreville continue to move forward. And I know all your efforts, all the efforts that you've given so far are going to continue moving forward. And as well as I hope you continue to stay involved in all that you do. It's very important that you see that agenda through.
Mary?
Donna and I were practically joined at the hips for a couple of years together. She was one of the most informed and prepared council people I've ever worked with. And it only goes to prove it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. She taught me how to use the computer, and she made sure my mic was off when I was saying something that I shouldn't have been saying, or I didn't want anybody else to hear. And I really say it's been a pleasure working with you, Donna. And you always had the best interest of Sayreville at heart. Thank you.
Sorry, I have to go with what I wrote. Donna, tonight we pause to honor your service. For 6 years, you've given Sayreville not just your time, but your heart. As council president, you've led with fairness and steadiness, ensuring every voice at this table was heard. You've guided us through tough budgets, championed improvements in our neighborhoods, and always kept the focus on what's best for our residents. Your career and background have brought so much to this council. From your early work at Dow Jones and Prudential to your years as a small business owner, you've always been someone who solves problems and lifts others up. That same spirit carried into your public service. You supported our veterans, you stood with our civics organizations, and celebrated new beginnings with the ribbon cuttings. You've been a voice for our community, and you've never forgotten that Sayreville was your hometown. Your leadership has left a mark that will last well beyond tonight. You've shown integrity, professionalism, and compassion in every decision. While your time on this dais may be ending, your impact on Sayreville will continue. On behalf of all of us here and our residents, thank you for your dedication. I wish you nothing but success and happiness in the next chapter. And we know you'll remain a valued member of our community. Thank you.
I don't know if I can compete with Mike on this one, but I know Donna and her family for over 50 years. And when I found out I was going to be on the council with Donna, I jumped on it. And I appreciate everything you showed me. And like I said before, this is a part of a chapter in your life. Please, you tried very hard to get reelected, and now the next chapter is going to take you to the next step in your life. And Randy, you're going to have a good time. So enjoy yourself, and thank you for everything.
Thanks for your service, Donna. Thanks for being my partner 3 years ago when we ran. I know we didn't always agree, but we always came to terms afterwards. I wish you the best in anything you do in the future and whatever it may be, even if it means coming back to here if you have a mental lapse or something like that. But so good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Almost made me cry up here, but thank you. It has always been a pleasure working for the people of Sayreville. It's not always been easy. And I want to thank everyone who supported me, those who are sitting here at the dais, the professionals, the residents that have given me their opinions so that I can have a stronger statement to represent them. It truly was an honor. And I am looking forward to this door may have closed, but a bunch of others have opened that I'm looking forward to. My contract has been extended. Randy's book is out. So we've got a lot to do and a lot to work with. And remember, I still live in Sayreville, so I still have a vested interest in it. So I'm not going that far. But thank you for allowing me to serve you for these 6 years. Thank you. That's okay. We have to redo the minutes. November 24th, I was not present and nor was Mary. So I need, sorry, I thought it was another day. So can I have a motion to approve November 24th from someone who attended?
Make a motion. to
Thank
approve.
you.
Second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes.
Valka.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Novak.
Abstain.
Abstain.
Roberts.
Abstain.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Okay. I understand we have need for an executive session today. Jessica?
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore it be resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public portion of this meeting is hereby adjourned in order that the governing body may meet in closed private session for approximately 10 minutes to discuss the following matters: attorney-client privilege, litigation, bus depot. Following the conclusion of said closed session, the governing body shall reconvene the open portion of this public meeting to consider any other matters which may be properly brought before it at this time. The nature and content of the discussion which occurs in closed session shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
I have a motion.
I move the resolution be approved on roll call vote.
Second.
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes.
Valka.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
And I need to recuse myself from this session as the Board of Ed is my employer.
Mary doesn't. We need a motion to reconvene.
I need a motion to reconvene.
So moved.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Malka,
Yes.
Parisi,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski. Okay, I just want to report that I received a resolution from the Sayreville Planning Board following a meeting on December 3rd, 2025, recommending Block 246, Lots 1, 1.02, 1.04, 1.05, 1.06, 1.07, 1.08, 2.02, 2.04, 2.11, Block 247, Lot 1.03, Block 247.02, Lots 1.01 and 1.03, and Block 251, lots 1.01, 2.01, and 2.02 to be designated as an area in need of redevelopment. We have a resolution on,
Actually, Mayor, if I may just, I was looking at that. The resolution that we have on the agenda is actually for different properties. This is the Crossman Road redevelopment area. The other properties are the Transit Village. So what we'll need to do is for the next council meeting in January, I will prepare a resolution declaring these areas in need of redevelopment, accepting the planning board's recommendation, which the council can then consider and either adopt or not, make this decision at that time.
So we have, sorry. Okay, we have no new business and we will do a public portion and for the resolutions only. Open to the public. Mr. Robinson.
Thank you, Madam Council President. It's nice to see you sitting there. I have a couple questions about a few resolutions here. One, we're transferring $20,000 into the Recreation Department. I personally think that for a town this size, the Recreation Department is underfunded. But is this transfer because the Festival of Lights, which cost $63,000, was over budget? Is that the reason that we have to transfer? The Festival of Lights, I think, cost $63,000. We got $28,500 in sponsorships. I think it was over budget. Is that the reason we're doing a transfer? I know there 12,000 came out of the police department budget. I think 7 came out of the parks. The total was about 63,000. And that was a great event. We should have more events. Council President, you weren't here at the meeting after that event, but Alberto polled the council and they all agreed they want to do that again in the future. I thought it was a great event. I'm not questioning that $63,000 cost. I'm just asking if that's why we're making the transfer. Okay, all right. Then the next question has to do with vehicles. You remember we spoke about this bond ordinance in early October. It was on the agenda. Then the council president had asked that it be postponed. And then I think Councilman Zabrowski made the motion that we table it until after the election. In that original ordinance, there was supposed to be 9 SUVs for the police department. I remember commenting that our patrolmen and women on the road 24/7, they should have reliable equipment. I was very happy to see that there were going to be 9 new vehicles for the police department. Today's resolution calls for only 5 vehicles. It's $284,000 for 5 vehicles for the police department, not 9. And they're 2025 vehicles, not 2026. Some of the other departments, construction, they're getting 2026 vehicles. Some of the other trucks are 2026, but the cops are getting only 5 and they're 2025 vehicles. I've been told the reason there's only 5 and not 9 were available was because of the delayed bonding ordinance that we held for, I don't know, a month and a half until after the election. Is that the reason? Does anybody know? Keep going? Okay. And I'm also being told that because there are only 5 being ordered, that those 5 are going to the brass, not to the road patrol. I guess rank has its privilege, but, it's the guys and women operating vehicles 24/7 that are putting the miles on and ought to have the newer, better cars. We know the captains don't put as many miles on their cars as the patrol division. And I'm just wondering about this. And will the patrol division get, and I guess what happens is when the captains and the chief get their 5, they'll be passed down to the detectives or whatever. At least that's what we always used to do. Will the patrol get those 4 additional vehicles sometime in 2026? Now, and I ask this because these were included in the 2025 budget. And you recall the budget was late in being adopted. I think this is the latest it's ever been adopted. And it wasn't just for cars, but there were pickup trucks, SUVs, a fire engine, fire equipment, a mini Packer truck, a street sweeper. And I assume all these things are necessary. I'm not questioning them, but these are in the 2025 budget. We're not buying all of them. We normally get these things after the budget is adopted in March. And here we are now doing this at the very last meeting of the year, and we're not getting everything that we had talked about. And I don't know, that just doesn't seem like the best way, the most efficient way to run things, and that the cops, the folks that are out there 24/7 might not be getting cars because we're only getting 5 instead of 9, and those 5 might be going to the brass. Just is reason for concern, that's all. My time is up. I'll wait for your answer.
You can be seated while you get your answer, please.
I'm sorry?
Would you please be seated while we give you an answer? Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay, so trying to do this in relative order. As far as the transfer to Rec Trust, I don't know that necessarily the Festival of Lights ran over budget. I will find out tomorrow and I'll email you that answer. I could tell you that generally speaking, we had some later additions into the rec process that weren't anticipated in the budget from last year, and we did move some money around in order to deliver all of those things. But I can get back to you on that tomorrow. As to the Tahoes, initially when we did the budget process, the request was for 9 vehicles, but we're having some, I don't want to say pushback, a preference expressed by the police chief that we did a certain amount of Tahoes and a certain amount of Explorers, because we've got some people that aren't too tall and the Tahoes are a little bit harder for them to handle. In my experience, I could tell you that whether it's March or this late in the budget year, we generally participate in the Cranford Co-op for police vehicles. We'll actually be in a better position to get the first bunch of those as they get released in the next month or 2 and get the Explorers that were designated. I've not heard this rumor about the brass getting the new vehicles. I could tell you that every chief I've worked for and the chief that we currently have, the priority does go to uniform patrol with vehicles. So I'd be shocked to see if that was happening, but I'll make an inquiry of the police chief tomorrow. Did I cover everything? Did I miss anything
I
for you?
think you did. Thank you. Anyone else from the public on resolution items only? Resolution items. Seeing no one, can I get a motion?
The resolutions be approved on roll call vote. And close the public. Boy, thank you.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Novak, Balca,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski. Motion to accept the correspondence?
Correspondence.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
And we'll go on to council reports, administration and finance. Councilman Belka.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and let everyone know that finance is busy wrapping up 2025 and getting ready for 2026. And other than that, progress.
Thank you. Planning and zoning, Councilman Zambrowski.
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple items from the Active Adult Center. Last week was a big week. They had a couple of big events. One was the birthday celebration for the quarterly birthday celebration. So one, congratulations to all that were at their birthday this quarter, including myself. and those who attended. And also we had the concert, holiday concert as well. And I want to thank all our staff as well as volunteers who put those events together and make them great celebrations for our community. As noted earlier, the planning board did approve a recommendation to designate a certain area around Crosman Road for an area in redevelopment. It was noted during that presentation to the planning board that all property owners had been notified and had been discussed with them. And in fact, Saybert was actually a couple of property owners were there, including Saybert, and Saybert was not included within that listing of properties, as that is a very thriving and business at that point, and we appreciate them their continued opportunity for them to serve and be part of Sayreville. Yesterday morning, we all attended the Pearl Harbor celebration down at the riverfront. As always, a very solemn moment. And I want to thank our Veterans Alliance, the VFW, the American Legion, all those that came out be able to give honor, not simply to those that have lost their life, but also to those in Sayreville that have, over the years, have given the ultimate cause, and also to those that are still currently serving in our armed forces. And then finally, if I can, and I'm sure everyone will do, I want to wish all our residents a very blessed holiday season and a wonderful and grand new year. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Public Safety, Councilman Kolesi.
Thank you. So throughout from our last meeting at the end of November, since November, the police department held its annual Cram the Cruiser food drive at ShopRite. Thanks to the generosity of our residents, a significant amount of non-perishable food was collected for our local pantries. The Messiah Lutheran Church pantry shared that more than 120 families were directly supported as a result. Then on November 26, our police department participated in a statewide Goal Zero campaign focused on eliminating deaths, injuries, and crashes on New Jersey roadways. Officers conducted enhanced enforcement throughout the holiday weekend to identify and remove impaired drivers. This year's effort also honored the memory of Brandon Tyler Narleski, whose charitable foundation offered discounted Lyft rides to encourage responsible travel. Then on December 7th, our officers proudly participated in the Wayne's Auto Body Toys for Tots Drive and the Holiday Parade of Lights, supporting events that bring joy and connection to our community during the holiday season. And I have to say, this year's Parade of Lights just gets better. Every single year, it's just been better and better. An awesome job by Brian Van Dungen and the entire Recreation Committee for putting together such a fantastic event. And of course, a big thank you to Rich Poplowski and the entire DPW crew for their hard work, support, and behind-the-scenes efforts to make that all possible. At the same time, the fire department Santa runs are in full swing. Residents can listen for the sirens as Santa and our firefighters make their way through the neighborhoods, spreading holiday cheer. The department is also once again partnering with the Rain Foundation out of Hazlitt, delivering donated goods to families in need. Looking ahead, the fire department will be conducting a pre-planning work-through of the new Bass Pro Shop with the Riverton Group to prepare for any potential emergency responses. As the year concludes, the department extends its appreciation to Chief Gavin for stepping into the role of chief for an unprecedented fourth term, helping guide the department through a safe and productive year. Later this month, on December 22nd, the Sayreville Police Department's Public Safety Emergency Communication Center will undergo its final on-site accreditation assessment by the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police. Members of the public are invited to participate by calling 732-427-5455 5870 between 10 and 11 a.m. or by emailing Lieutenant Tom Sheehan at tsheehan@sayreville.com. You can find him online. From our Office of Emergency Management, Director Chris Bardsley reports no new issues at this time. He also offered a very kind personal message, thanking me for the support I provided throughout the year and sharing that it's been an honor serving under my leadership. I sincerely appreciate his thoughtful words and his continued dedication. I would also like to extend a warm thank you to Jen Bell and the entire Office of the Aging staff for inviting me to their annual Christmas party. It was a wonderful event featuring the music from the Fog and enjoyed by all in attendance. And finally, my thanks to the Sayreville Historical Society for their ongoing partnership and for the work they continue to do, preserving and celebrating the history of our borough. I look forward to continuing to work closely with them in the coming year. And I can't forget a thank you to Deacon Andy and Ken Kelly in the mayor's office for guiding me through the public safety ongoing light problem that we had in town. So did a fantastic job catching up with all these lights that are out and continuing to work on what we have left to do. So my sincere thanks to them. As we close out the season, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, and safe New Year. May the holidays bring joy and peace to you and your families. That's all I have to report tonight.
Thank you, Councilman. Public Works, Councilwoman Novak.
Yes, I'd like to, many of you know, our Superintendent of Public Works is under the weather, and we're wishing him a speedy recovery. But in the meantime, be aware that the rest of the department is very well educated in everything that has to be done. And although everybody will miss George for a little while, they're going to handle everything just great. Because I'm saying my rosaries, we're not getting any snow, at least till George gets better. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The parade yesterday was second to none. I had one suggestion that I mentioned to the BA, but other than that, I mean, it was really, I have never seen one so well attended and one that everybody stayed around and all of the different activities they had afterwards. It was really great. And we didn't have a big traffic jam on Main Street. The First Aid also does Santa runs, and they have their schedule posted, the times and the times they anticipate being in certain areas. So, you'll know when they're coming, and they update it all day long. So it is on their page, and it's posted on practically all the Sayreville sites. Let's see. Next year's schedule. Everybody knows I've been around for a long time, and we used to have agenda sessions that were separate from the business sessions. And I think we got a lot less things were happening that everybody wasn't aware of and didn't put their 2 cents in on. And I know it's never going to happen that we're ever going to go back to those 2 meetings for that. But I was hoping that the council might consider breaking the business meeting and the agenda meeting up, even if we do it on the same night, perhaps do the business meeting and then go into 308 or 310 and sit down. That whole thing about talking around a table, we had a lot more, discussion, a lot more things were talked about than happens, I think, out here. I mean, sometimes I trying to ask a question and people are saying you're not talking into the mic, and I'm trying to talk to somebody down there. So I think for conducting business, that's better. I mean, just this week, I was sent pictures that USA Architect was, we paid them $25,000 to do renderings of the firehouse. And I didn't even know it was done. And I thought perhaps I missed something. I thought perhaps that the resolution was passed while I wasn't back on the council in the last 2 months of last year. But there was no resolution. It was authorized I guess the business administrator authorized it. Usually that's done through a resolution. We will authorize so-and-so, like I think on the agenda tonight, it's authorizing CME to pay money, to be paid a certain amount of money to do the roads. Normally, we would have had a discussion on it and we would authorize USA Architects to, for a certain amount of money to do this rendition. And I knew nothing about it. And unfortunately, this year, an awful lot of stuff I find from the residents when I'm attending a particular function. So I hope we can consider that for next year. Accreditation was just for me. And we discussed what we're doing on January 1st, what the schedule is?
Full-blown January 1st meeting,
Okay, but what time are we?
noon.
Noon time, is that the agenda and then the
We
business?
don't have an agenda anymore. We go right into the regular.
We can't have that. We have to discuss these appointments prior to walking in here. We can't have that. We have to have an agenda meeting where we discuss the appointments. How can we vote on something that the last time it was, I'm trying to write down everything as it was being said.
If it's the same meeting, as always, has anything changed?
No, we talked about the appointments and then there was resolutions appointing them.
No, except for last year when I wasn't, we always had an agenda meeting prior.
Yeah, we changed that last year.
I know, but I'm asking that we go back to it because the appointments, we need to know about these
That's up to
appointments in
you guys.
advance.
That's not my decision.
Well, I'm asking for that. That's why, I think we absolutely we can't, how can we vote on appointments if we're only getting them as somebody's reading them off to us? We don't have time to sit down and discuss it at all.
Well, if I remember correctly, also in the agenda session, nothing was discussed either, if I remember correctly.
But at least
We kind of
we
went
knew-
through we did it the same way at the agenda session that we kind of moved it to the regular session.
So it sounds to me, and I'm not going to be here for this, is we will get the standard package that we always get with all the professionals who submitted. And
That will be going out this week.
and that'll be going out this week. That will have the list of all the professionals for all their what they applied for. And just like any other year, we would have to determine who we wanted. And there would be a motion made at the meeting and we would either approve or deny that motion. And that's how has been. If the discussion needs to happen, it would happen at that point in time. Is that correct? And that was typically,
We're going to come in here on January 1st and not know who the appointments are until they're read out.
well, you'll know who you want to appoint because you'll have the same package everyone else has received.
That's going to
And
be a long
especially-
meeting, January 1st. Because there'll be questions asked. There won't be just, we just can't conduct business that way. I thought that perhaps last year when we didn't have the agenda session, I came in here and I said, who are we appointing? There was no printed. When we used to come into the business meeting, we had a printed agenda in front of us with everybody's names in there that we discussed in the agenda meeting. Last year, we had nothing. I had absolutely nothing. Well, I'm going to make a motion that we have a separate agenda meeting prior to the business meeting.
Is there a second?
Legally, you can, you're still a council member, right? Donna won't be here either. I'll say.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Alka,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
Right now? No, because, everything worked last year. What's the difference? No, there was a list too last year. I don't know why you're saying there's no list. We had a list
No.
of people with their names in there and we went through it.
We did
That
not.
day, yes, we did.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Jessica walked into the
Jessica,
meeting
next-
and I said,
next
where's the
on.
list of appointments? And she said she didn't even have one.
Roberts,
We
No.
did not have a list of appointments.
Sinarski,
Oh.
Zabrowski.
Just to be clear, ordinarily, or in the past, it's part of the agenda It's included in the agenda, or it had been in the past. Clarify what you were telling me, how it happened.
It was a totally separate meeting.
Okay.
So what happened was last year, we included it. So you guys came in, you guys made your motions to appoint. The resolutions got adopted according to who you guys appointed.
But having a separate meeting or not having a separate meeting, and I'll throw this to Joe, is there's still room for discussion in each case, is that not?
Yes, absolutely.
What I asked, Ken, was whether we change or not, is there an opportunity for discussion among the council on these issues? And I referenced that to our borough attorney.
Yes, the normal procedure under Robert's rules, a motion, second, discussion, and then a roll call or roll call vote or all in favor. But yeah, there's discussion on any motion at that time. And if I may, I'm just, because I'm new to the borough myself, it's sounding that this agenda session wasn't held in public, which I don't understand how that was done.
No, it was a public meeting. It was held in
Okay.
room 310.
But this
But we
public was still invited
did,
to
we
attend.
went through the whole agenda and then we came in here and we did the same exact thing. So that's why
Oh,
we,
no, I understand. That's a policy
Yeah,
decision.
yeah.
I just want to make sure, because on the legal end, I thought it
No,
sounded like
they're
it was
both
almost an
public.
executive session.
No,
with The agenda.
no.
Okay,
There's-
okay.
yeah.
Just want to make sure it's up, it meets the law. That's all.
I'm satisfied there's enough opportunity for discussion, so my answer would be no.
Okay, Mary, anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
I do have a question in reference to Mary's report, and I don't really know how, I didn't really know anything about renderings as well. I knew that we did hire an architect. I was aware of that, but I wasn't aware that there were renderings. And in fact, I guess they've kind of slipped out to certain members of our community. Not really sure how that is, and I don't know if that's effective or correct or the right policy to do that. But I'm going to make a suggestion that since those renderings seem to be circulating, why don't we post them on our website or on our Facebook page so our community can see them at this point? Not so much for the purposes of getting, maybe getting back feedback, but more or less so that they're not just sitting out there for just special people to see. So that's my suggestion.
Yeah, I'm the one who sent it out to people after I received it. Now you sitting here saying that you were aware of all of this. I wasn't. It seems like.
No, you're misrepresenting
you
what I,
knew we
no,
did it.
you're misrepresenting what I said. I was not aware that there were renderings. I was aware that we have an architect, and the architect, I believe, was hired for that purpose. That can be confirmed or not. I was not aware that there were renderings. I don't think most of the council did. I think at that point, the staff and the architect were still working on, because that's why they're renderings. But my point is, since there are renderings that are now circulating when they probably shouldn't have been, we might as well put them out to the public so that everybody can see it, so that it's front-facing and transparent. That's my
My
comment.
point is you just said that you knew the architect was hired to do this. I didn't. It was never discussed in an open public meeting.
That's not my point. My point is about the renderings that should not have been circulated at this point, but apparently have, and I think that they should go out. That's my point.
Nobody cares about my point. Next year, maybe.
How many renderings are there?
And may I say that, and I may be incorrect, but a rendering at this point in the project is still a
idea.
draft, that it can change as
My
things
point
move
is
along.
We never discussed sending this to an architect to do any kind of rendering.
Glenn?
All of that is usually taken care of.
The architect is a professional employed by us last year for the whole year.
Yeah.
As part of the
We appoint them.
RFP process. And the expense was under the bid threshold, so it did not have to go to resolution. It was part of the larger project, which was authorized by the council to proceed with the remediation and preservation of that building. So as a consequence, the architect was given the go-ahead out of my office, which I can do up to $54,000 without having to come to the council. So, and as far as the renderings, they were for internal discussion, because we had to make sure that we can accommodate the new use for the building. We still don't know which rendering will be used, because there's still engineering determinations that have to be made in terms of the structural integrity and what has to be done internally vis-a-vis the engineer's plans, at which point then we can come up with a comprehensive final rendering and final floor plan, bring it to the council for their approval, and then proceed with the rest of the project.
I keep making the same point again, that I'm hearing about this at affairs in town. I don't know about half of the stuff that went on this year. I was totally in the dark, but everybody else seems to be aware of it. So there's obviously some backroom discussions that are being held that people know about this stuff, and I don't. And I'm not saying that I would have had any problem with it, but to have to constantly hear about things outside from residents of the town, they tell me this. That's not the way things are supposed to be done. The council is supposed to be making these decisions. Every time CME, who has been he's our engineer, he does this all the time. He has to come up here with a resolution to start working on the roads for next year. He asks for it, we write it up, we vote on it. And here we spent money on this. I asked several times, what money have we spent on this building? And I'm told remediation only, remediation of the environmental. I asked the question, I was never told, oh, by the way, we spent almost $26,000 to do renderings for the building. I ask a question and I'm not even getting answers. Business can't be conducted like this.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but we have not received anything to vote on yet. So therefore the bigger problem is leak. It's not, I mean.
So
it's
when
just-
construction,
It should be a leak.
Well,
when
it's not- it's
construction
a
sent you
public-
the email,
It's still a
who
work
else was
product.
on that email besides you? None of us was on that, right? Who else was on the email when it was
Because
sent to you?
everybody knew about it but me.
Not everybody knew. You didn't see my name on there. You didn't see John. You didn't see Stock.
John
you
just said
didn't
he
see-
knew about it.
You didn't see Dan.
No,
You didn't
you're-
see
you're
anybody.
putting words in my mouth again. I didn't know anything about a rendering and I didn't see it. Apparently you had.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because somebody who was given them thought I knew all about it. And I said, could you send that to me? And they did.
But it
And I
was none
shared
of
it with
us.
the Historical Society.
But it was none of us. I saw your share.
No, it wasn't. I would have been more happy if somebody on this council would, actually told me that we spent this money. But I don't hear anything from the council. No, it's not part of the process. No, it isn't. I'm sorry.
Do you have anything else?
No.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Water, sewer, and environmental, Councilman Sinarski.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Council President. As far as the water and sewer, what's going to be happening because of the weather change? Now we're going to be experiencing more pipe breakages from the ground frost heaves and the way the ground changes. So even though there's a 3-foot frost level, the ground still changes. So we're going to experiencing water line breaks. So be careful if it's freezing outside and you're going through the water, it could be very icy or black ice or whatever. So be careful around the town. Yesterday was an exceptional day. We started off at the Pearl Harbor service, the memorial down the river. Very touching. We attended every year. We've been going for many years. I want to thank everybody that attended. I'd like to try to publicize that more to get more people down there every year. It seems like the same group is there all the time. I'd like to earlier start making it more so we can get more people there. The next one was the Wayne Speed and Sport Marine Toys for Tots. We had a lot of cars. We had boxes and boxes and boxes. It filled vans and cars with toys for all of the kids. There had to be over 200 cars, I would say, on South Pine. Also, I want to commend the Sayreville Police Department. The way we angled all of the cars this year, we were able to fit more in a dense area instead of having them spread out all the way past Ted's Bar. But the whole area down there on that bottom of South Pine before it hit 35 was just packed with all kind of beautiful cars, beautiful people having a great day. And it was a great day. They had a big 50-50. They had a lot of good time. And then at night, the same police that I saw working that show were also working the Festival of Lights that we had here, or the Christmas holiday parade or Christmas parade. It was just a very busy day and a great weekend. And I want to thank everybody that attended. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilman. I'll have a short report now about what people have already talked about so far. So we, of course, had the Pearl Harbor, and I think that's a great idea to try to advertise that more, maybe do a live feed so that we can get some traction on that. So that might be something that can move forward in the next year. The parade was amazing. This, I have to say, is the greatest perk of sitting up here is being able to be in the parade and being at the receiving stand, because watching the parade come down Main Street is just magical. And that is something I will dearly miss. And all the people that have participated in the parades in Memorial Day or the Parade of Lights, the Christmas parade, whether it's Cultural Arts, the Human Relations Commission, Arlith School, or the Historical Society, they really go all out on these floats now with lights and snow and just filled with the Christmas spirit. It's wonderful to see our town come together like that. So it's a very proud moment. And then looking across from the podium, across to the crowd with the First Presbyterian Church in the background, it truly is a hallmark moment. Some of my favorite pictures are from that vantage point, and that's something I truly will miss. Other than that, we can now move on to Business Administrator.
Excuse me, Council President, I got one more thing to say. Being up here on the council, we do a lot of different things besides go to the council meetings every 2 weeks. Our phones ring constantly. And I got a shout out to the postmaster at the Sayreville Post Office up here. I had residents complaining about a couple minor things at the post office. And within 2 days, they were all completed. The same day that I was there, the postmaster called me back and we discussed what was going on. So even the residents that told me about the issues called me and said, boy, everything is perfect. Thank you very much for what you do. And that's what everybody up here does all the time. So I just want to say that we do some positive things in town before getting shot down all the time. Thank you.
Thank you. And you just reminded me, Recreation had requests from about 103 children, and we have gifts for every child. Unless there were new ones put on the list today, we are able to provide a gift for every child that signed up. So very proud of the Recreation Department for that. Now, Business Administrator, please.
Requesting authorization to call for a certified list for patrolmen from the Department of Personnel.
Any objections?
Authorization to hire Bianca Khan as Clerk 1 in the Municipal Court effective January 1st, 2026.
Any objections?
Is that open position?
Yes, a vacancy. We had a resignation. Authorization to promote Deborah Turner and Susan Ferrano from Record Support Technician 2 to Record Support Technician 3 in the Police Department effective January 1st.
Same question. To just change their title?
That's it. Yeah, it's a bump up for title. And generally, all of these are with regard to seniority and a title, and it's time to move them up. Authorization to promote Sean Jekyll and Leslie Ann Polanco from Record Support Tech 1 to Record Support Tech 2 in the Police Department effective January 1st.
Any objections?
Authorization to appoint Michelle Dunn from per diem Public Safety Telecommunicator to full-time Public Safety Telecommunicator in the Police Department effective January 1st, 2026.
Any objections?
Is that a new full-timer, Glenn?
Yes,
Okay. Recommend the chief needed?
yes. Authorization to promote Jean Marie O'Leary from Keyboarding Clerk 2 to Record Support Technician 3 in the Clerk's Office effective December 16th, 2025.
Any objections?
And lastly, authorization to promote Caitlin Mulcahy from Keyboarding Clerk 1 to Keyboarding Clerk 2 in the Clerk's Office effective December 16th, 2025.
Any objections? Okay. CFO, Danielle?
Thank you, Council President. Progress.
Thank you. Borough Engineer, Jay?
Report this evening.
Okay. Borough Attorney, Joe?
Thank you. Yes, I actually do have a brief report. The Sarah planner, Venus Sawant, was going to be here this evening to make a small presentation. Unfortunately, she was ill and couldn't make it, but she asked me if I would just update the council. In the coming year, there's going to be an ordinance adopting, presented to the council for its consideration, amending the existing former Sunshine Biscuit redevelopment plan to change the development for one of the warehouse developments. A new company coming in, Hanover Company, is looking to actually change the approved development there from a large warehouse to two smaller warehouse buildings, reducing the square footage by approximately 350,000 square feet, substantial reduction. They're also looking to change the construction of the building. It's going to be very environmental friendly with green infrastructures. They're actually seeking what's called a Green Globes energy rating. It's similar to like a LEED type certification on a federal level. So they're really, and they're also looking to work with Conrail to try to use the trains for deliveries to and from the site rather than the roadways and the truck traffic to reduce truck traffic. So it's a recommendation from Sarah. We've already gone through the redevelopment process by we amended the redevelopment area earlier this year for this site. And the planner is going to be coming when we introduce the ordinance in January that amends the plan. She'll come to go into more specifics of it, but I just wanted to make the council aware that it is coming, and it's something that Sarah is very supportive of. It's going to be a better, in their opinion, as well as the planners, a better development for the borough versus what was previously approved and previously authorized by the existing plan. So they're pretty excited about it. But I just wanted to bring that to the council's attention, and we'll get more information come January.
Thank you, Joe. All right, now, we don't have to, do we have to get a vote for the public? Okay, so I would like to open up to the public portion, and first I'm going to get a box of tissues. Sorry. It's that time of year. All right, anyone from the public?
Yeah.
Mr. Presgrove.
Randy Presgrove, 369 Washington Road, Sayreville, New Jersey. I'm a writer, which means I don't use 50 words when 500 will do. But rest assured, I'm going to observe the sanctity of the clock here. My friend Jim Robinson mentioned during the discussion of the vehicles for the police department. I want to emphasize that the two brands being considered represent the only two companies I haven't been kicked out of over a 47-year career, General Motors and Ford. Ford, by the way, just to show you where my tendencies lean, means found on road dead. Let me tell you a little story. Hometown heroine. Lady born in Sayreville, bred in Sayreville, went to high school in Sayreville, and then went off to make her fortune. And this really took several forms. Bed and breakfast owner, computer expert, technician, lawyer for a lawyer recruiting firm, and back to home. With no inclination, no political experience, just being pissed off at the way things were, decided to enter politics. She happened to have the misfortune to know a guy who knew absolutely less than what she did. But amazingly enough, she was the only candidate for her party who won election to the Sayreville Borough Council that year, which happened to be a COVID year. You remember what that was like, the deep, dark, dead days of COVID. And even though she didn't know much about politics, she held pizza packet meetings, anything to educate herself about the process, the borough, and these protocols and proceedings. Along the way, she was subjected to some pretty nasty stuff for somebody who didn't really understand it. She was verbally vilified, and by extension, I bore some of that. So things have a funny way of working out. She served with distinction for over 6 years to the borough she came home to. She can hold her head high. She can put a broomstick up her backbone and said, "This buffoonery will not pass." And so you have council person, council president, you have the everlasting thanks of myself and the citizenry of Sayreville, New Jersey. I commend you. I applaud all of you for your public service. Jay, Mary, John, Mike, Glenn, Councilperson Roberts, Joe, Stosh, Dan, Danielle, Jess, Nicole, you perform a service which is no less important than what our servicemen do or what the men and women in our highest political offices do. You do it with the grace and stateliness of people whose passion for service is exceeded only by their excellence and a measure of integrity little seen in an era of cynicism and selfish. I applaud all of you, but mostly I look up to the Borough Council President. As you ride off into the next chapter of your life, I meant right off, W-R-I-T-E. Thank you. Our heartfelt appreciation goes out to each and every one of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Olszewski.
Ken Olszewski, Sayreville. Changing a little format of what I came here for tonight, after I heard some of the comments here and how it looks like we're going to repeat the same mistakes from last year into the coming year. Let me tell you something. Abraham Lincoln once said, you can fool all of the people some of the time and some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. I've stood here and said how many times that you're running a secret government. If you think I get pleasure out of doing that, if you think I get pleasure out of calling people puppets, you got the wrong guy. But you continue to do that. And if you're not personally doing it, you're sitting here allowing it to be done while the mayor has done most of these things. I'm not going to repeat them. You've heard me talk about them a dozen times. So don't pull this innocent stuff about how you've done so many good things. You're running a secret government. What is going on? You don't, number one, you don't answer questions. I've told you this a dozen times. No, when I tell people that, they think I'm joking. People from around, I've talked to people in New York State, Pennsylvania, et cetera. You know, you're not running a secret government. I hear about this firehouse next door. We're going to put offices in there. I come to a lot of meetings. I read a lot of stuff. I talk to a lot of people. Who decided that? I asked that the last time I was here 2 meetings ago. Nobody, the mayor answered. Oh, that's the way it's always been. Who decided after we had a public referendum, which several people opposed here and fought against, including the mayor? I know, Stosh, you were against it. I'm not positive about everybody. I think you're all against it. Who decided what we're going to do? If that is the secret, where's the public input? Time and again, you're doing the same nonsense. So much for that. But I want to address what I'm here for, and that's to speak about Dan Balka and to thank him for being a representative of the people instead of a representative of developers and a representative of secret government. He's done, and I'm not going to try to enumerate them, but I'll just give a couple of the highlights. The Arsenal project, where we gave away $100 million to a developer, to a multi-billion-dollar developer. And by the way, how's that project going now? After we all stood at the planning board and said that was going to be a failure, people that were truck drivers for 35 years. I cited warehouses for a multinational corporation. I told them that's not going to work. You're too far from the major highways. How's that going, by the way? Dan Balka voted against that pilot, and he did rightfully so, taking away $100 million over 30 years from the taxpayers of this town. The town hall, the 1909 town hall firehouse. How many resolutions, Mary talked about it, how many resolutions have we had? to declare this a historic landmark. And they've all been voted down. Thank God Dan Balca was right there to vote for it. The people wanted, you had a referendum. You campaigned against the referendum, and the people, they beat you 2-1. And when Mary, and I think even before Mary, they've asked for resolutions to disclose and declare this a historic landmark, it's voted down. Mike said, not yet. Stosh said, not yet. Well, tell us when the time is. After you blow all the borough money. Is that it? After you blow all the borough money, that's the right time to do it? The Historic Society asked for it. They spent a lot of time working with people, and they told them they could get it. I talked to some people. I talked to Congressman Pallone. I talked to Coughlin about trying to get grants for this. All of a sudden, there's no money available. Everybody here's an expert on it. Oh, is that right? That's very interesting. Well, Dan, I want to tell you, I thank you on behalf of the people. Your parents, your family, your friends, your relatives should be proud of you because you are here to fight for the people all of the time. And I wish I could say that about some of these other people. Unfortunately, at the moment, I can't say it. And I've been on boards a long time. Maybe Mary's been on the council. I was there 6 years. I served 5 years on the County Utilities Authority, and I've served on almost every board in town. So I know a little bit about government, and I know a little bit about what is open to the public and what should be hidden. Yeah, it should be hidden in there when you're talking about, yes, when you're talking about what you did tonight, I understand that. But most of this stuff, there should be public discussion on it. You're not doing it. You're running a secret government. Thank you very much.
Anyone else from the public? Mr. Robinson.
Yes, thank you, Council President Jim Robinson from Parlin. I had hoped to come here tonight really just to say goodbye and be very upbeat on things. But that changed because of the discussion here. And I sat and watched a lot of 4-2 votes in the last 2 years. When Christian was here, there were a lot of 4-2 votes. And I'm disappointed in a lot of them. I was disappointed in tonight's 4-2 vote because what Mary was basically asking for was the opportunity to sit down and discuss some things. Now, everybody remembers, we hear people say up there, and I don't want to say anybody was less than candid or honest, but we said there was discussions last year. Well, you know what? Or at January 1st of this year, I was here January 1st. And when the mayor appointed the engineers, he appointed CME and Morgan, you could hear it in the room. Everybody said, wow, what did he say? Huh? Who's that? Nobody knew. Nobody knew, but then it just kind of like slipped that in because there was no discussion in 310. Mary said she's been around for a long time. I've been coming to council meetings a longer time. There used to be real discussions. A give and take. Nobody has a monopoly on wisdom. You're not supposed to rubber stamp what the mayor says. You're supposed to sit around that table, discuss, decide, exchange opinions, and maybe convince others. The mayor said, I don't agree with the mayor on too many things, but after a motion was made at the last meeting, the mayor said, we don't win too many of these cases. And he's absolutely right. There's a reason you don't win a lot of cases in court. It's because you don't sit down and discuss things. There are two big cases right now. There's the mosque suit and there's the school board suit. You know what? That shouldn't be decided by a judge in New Brunswick. That shouldn't be decided by a federal court judge in Newark. Folks should get together, sit down, say, there's a way to resolve these things. It's not going to cost the taxpayers a lot of money. We want to do it in a way that's in the best interest of everybody in town. But you don't do that. You don't have those discussions. You go in, you listen to what the lawyer says. I guess you take a vote in closed session. I don't know. I didn't think that was possible. But you really ought to have more of those discussions. It's good for everybody. That's a fundamental part of democracy, to discuss and debate, not come and vote yes, 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 or 4-2 votes, or not yet, or whatever silly other thing. But I want to talk about the two council folks who are leaving. First, I'll talk about Dan Balka. He was listed first. I first learned about Dan Balka when he was a member of the Board of Education, and some people in Morgan called me when the board had this crazy idea to take away the Wayne A. Grant Memorial Field and put a bus depot there. I didn't really know Dan, but I know that he was opposed to that project from the beginning. He's thoughtful, independent, and when it was done, they had a little celebration there, and they invited me because I helped them. And I said to Dan, how come you were opposed to that from the beginning? And he said very succinctly, it just didn't belong there. It was subtle, it was quiet, he was effective. And that's the way he governed. Then he got elected to the council. And as Ken Olszewski said, I think he was on the right side of the pilots, not just the arsenal, but the mini warehouses or the personal, the firehouse. I don't know how many 4-2 votes you've been on the losing end of.
11.
And maybe there'll be another one tonight before we end, but you've been on the right side of that. On the Sarah appointments, you've been on the right side of those appointments. You've stood with the people. And I'll say this, I'm running out of time. Like Randy, I want to respect time. I want to get to Donna. They're going to miss you. Your financial acumen. You're a professional. They're going to miss you when it comes to the budget. Donna, because I don't want you to sit me down. I don't want to not say anything nice about you, so I will say this. I respect everybody in public service. Randy was telling me about the wonderful book that he wrote. I hope that with this newfound time, I certainly wish you health and goodwill, but with this newfound time, maybe you too will write a book on politics or something like that, which I think would be very interesting. I wish everyone else a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season, New Year of only good things to you and your
Thank you, Mr.
family and
Robinson.
everybody involved with the borough. So thank you.
Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Anyone else? Okay, can I get a
I
motion
move the
to
public
close the
portion be
public?
closed.
Public closed? Roll call? Or all in favor? Okay, I do have a few comments I would like to wrap up with, and these will probably be my last comments sitting on the dais. First, I just want to clear up, just because I agree with someone else doesn't mean I rubber stamp anything. It just means I disagree with you. So let's not call people rubber stamps anymore. We all have our own opinions, and we have our reasons for it. And I do want to share some final thoughts. This won't take long. I just want to congratulate Sayreville in New Jersey. You've spoken through your vote. Although I did not vote for those you elected, I understand that in this recent election that you voted for less transparency in elections. Even though it was named ETA, the Elections Transparency Act, it raised contribution limits, weakened pay-to-play rules, and made oversight by New Jersey election law enforcement, ELEC, less robust. And I'll provide citations for everything I've mentioned. You also voted to remain a sanctuary state through the Immigrant Trust Directive, limiting cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. You voted against school choice. You voted to make it easier, and this is important to Sayreville. You voted to make it easier to allow for more high-density housing. This I don't understand. I'm vehemently opposed to the Fair Share Housing Program that's been around since the 1970s and has done nothing to improve the housing market. In fact, it seems like it's making it worse. So with New Jersey's recent 2024 affordable housing law, based on the Mount Laurel Doctrine, was upheld by state court in 2025, rejecting legal challenges by dozens of municipalities. This means that the statewide framework forcing towns from the state level to plan for fair share affordable homes, including units for low and moderate income households, remain in effect and will likely move forward. And just in the last month, the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs announced over $35 million in funding for projects in 23 communities, adding rental and those high-density housing from the state level. You voted for higher energy costs. A recent summary forecast estimates bills could increase another 1.5% to 5% in 2026 for most tax ratepayers, just from capacity cost increase. And the surge is driven by a combination of rising electrical demand, data centers, electrification, EVs, and limited growth in new generation capacity and delays in the interconnection of renewable clean energy projects. So those are some of the things we voted for at the state level. And just before I go on to local, I was looking at the state constitution because affordable housing has been called a constitutional requirement, and it doesn't seem to be in the Constitution. The linkage to that seems very loose. Do you have any insight to that?
I mean, the original Mount Laurel decision is where the Supreme Court of New Jersey determined that there is a constitutional right for affordable housing. That decision's hundreds of pages long, so I couldn't get into all the specifics now. But I can say what they essentially did is they read different aspects of the New Jersey Constitution. And while it doesn't specifically state that, the Supreme Court had found that, applying this section, applying that section, reading this section and that section, that they found that there was a mandatory right for affordable housing.
Okay, because what I did read was that the affordable housing is based on the Constitution saying that there should be no discrimination in housing. And that to me was quite a leap.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically say it anywhere in the Constitution, but like I said, it's a very long read, and it's been a while since I've actually read it. I won't be able to quote it, but it does talk about it through various aspects of the Constitution. It's really that's why they call it the Mount Laurel Doctrine, because it's the Mount Laurel Supreme Court decision that really established it.
Got it. Okay. And now for local suggestions. No resident is authorized to represent the public. That's the responsibility of your elected officials. When one comes up to the podium to speak, it's on their own behalf, especially if the individual is a political activist. If anyone has a question, issue, complaint, or praise, there's a structure in place for you to be heard, and in most cases, find a solution. So come to your officials, come to those professionals that are there to help us. And let's stop playing the game of coming to the podium as the first and only outreach, because there's a lot working for you. There's always a benefit and a consequence to every item on the agenda. In most cases, the council, regardless of party, agrees. There is very little dissension. Where you may see some grandstanding, especially for the issues that matter to us the most, like high-density housing, we must follow New Jersey law and what the majority voted for in the state just recently. So let's not just focus on one property. And there is a resident that believes he's an expert in planning and offers some suggestions. However, I know that our board members and professionals are working diligently to find the right answer, not only for a single property, but for what's best for all affected properties and neighborhoods. These solutions may or may not include the suggestions. However, I believe this resident throws out anything they can think of to get credit for whatever decision happens to be made eventually. As for planning, this resident is also proud of his service on the planning board and regularly states that they know a thing or two about planning. And to that individual, I do have to ask, what planning? Where's our business district? Why are our roads unable to handle existing volume, let alone the projected volume? What happened to downtown? As in, where is it? Where is a location that can hold a traditional wedding? Where can my guests stay in town when visiting? Why do we have a road to nowhere? Were there any affordable housing in the 4,579 units you approved? And finally, why didn't you purchase the property behind Kennedy Park when it was up for sale during your service? These are just some of the problems we face today because it was not addressed in the past. So I'd like to start suggesting that our council in the future work together to fix problems and not argue about what's happened in the past. We are where we are, and we need to fix it for the sake of our town. I will tell you, it was my pleasure serving. It took a lot of time, effort, and learning. I'm proud of my service, and I look forward to the next chapter. I still live in Sayreville and have a vested interest in our success, so I'm sure I will participate in some capacity. And I want to thank you for your trust and support over the past 6 years. On a personal note, my professional contract has been extended. Randy's book, This Car Sucks, is out, has been published, and I'll be working with him on book signings, including setting one up at our local library, as he is one of our local authors, as well as across the country and spending more time with my family. The kids grow up too quickly. In conclusion, I want Sayreville to succeed. I do not want to see any more high-density housing. I don't want higher energy prices. I do want this town to thrive for us today, and more importantly, for future generations to call home. So thank you, everyone. Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
To adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.